Welcome back to Dagryffyn Hobby. My name's Dave, and today I want to do something a little different and go through my collection of engines. In the past, I've done a video on the important engines, the ones that mean something, the ones I have memories of, the ones that got me back into the hobby, the ones that I remember watching run when I was a kid. But I was talking recently with Nick of Nick's Crossing, and the subject came up of how many engines do you have? And I honestly do not know. So here we have two engines from the famous American Railroad series. These are Mpc Era Engines. We have the 6200 Pennsylvania S2 turbine, and we have the 8900 Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe Hudson. I have to say, this turbine is one of my favorite engines. It just runs so smooth and so well. This engine is the 8206 New York Central Hudson. That was the first larger engine of the Mpc era. There was one that they had intended to release before this one, but it never made it to production. So of the Mpc era, this 8206 was the first larger, more detailed engine that they produced. And while we're on the subject of Mpc engines, here's my Southern Crescent Limited 8702. While the 6200 turbine is green, technically, it's really hard to tell. This one's definitely green, and you notice it. Another beauty from the Mpc era is 783 Scale Hudson. Of all the Scale Hudsons, this is the most affordable. Maybe it has less separately applied details than the earlier models. But you know what? It's a Scale Hudson. It's Lionel, and I like it. Would I rather have the 773 from the 50s? Sure, but for a fraction of the price, and the fact that I'm just gonna run the thing, this is just as good as far as I'm concerned. I was gonna say that was it for the Mpc era, but then I would have been ignoring this one, this dinky little plastic one, but it's my first engine, the one I got when I was maybe 3 years old, and I've had it since. So I've recently cleaned that up and it's running pretty well, so I can't forget this one. The 1501 Lackawanna Northern. I believe the Lackawanna Railroad would have referred to this engine as a Pocono. Not positive, I think so though. So this is supposed to be scale, I think. It's pretty big. It's certainly wider than all my other engines. It's also a fantastic runner, so this is a cool one to have. I figure we'll cover the newer stuff before I get into the post-war and the one or two pre-war engines I have. So this is probably my most modern engine. It's one of the Lionel's 080s. The thing that impresses me about this engine is just how smooth and slow it runs. Is it perfect? Heck no. It's got a traction tire that popped off. I believe I'm currently using a rubber band from some Amazon packaging, which surprisingly is working, but I feel like the traction tires never sit right, but maybe that's because I'm using a rubber band instead. But I have to say this engine is pretty fantastic, and the fact that I think I paid $60 for it, it's a win as far as I'm concerned. This is one of those engines that I could set up on a loop and just let it run, and it will just run at relatively the same speed on conventional control forever. It's a pretty good runner. It kind of makes me want to get some newer stuff. Maybe not. Okay, I think that's it for my newer engines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8! I would not have known I had that many newer engines. I've been storing a lot of my engines in this old Crescent toolbox, and honestly, I haven't opened the drawers that much recently. So let's see what we got here. This is the Prewar 040 1662. As you might be able to tell, it's a little banged up, it's a little dirty. I've been trying to get an 040 for quite some time, and I kept losing the auctions. And then I won this one and a 1656 within like a day or 2 days of each other. So this one was intended to be a project. I want to fix the bent roof. I want to replace the broken off marker light. I need to fix the front coupler is missing. And as you can see here, one of the wheels has come off. So this has turned into a bigger project than I intended. I had been running this for quite some time before the wheel fell off. The 1656. So I got the 1656 with the bell ringing tender. It's pretty neat. This one is not perfect either. It's a lot cleaner than the 1662, but it's got, you might be able to see, kind of rocks back and forth. The axles are bent. I have new axles. I just need to stop procrastinating and repair them. So one of these days. I'm not going to take tenders out with these because I have them stored in different drawers and it doesn't matter that much. This is my 224, and this is one of those engines that I used to watch go around my uncle's layout when I was a kid. So I love having this one. And it's a good runner, and it's got the big Baldwin wheels. It was gorgeous. The other engine that I watched run around his layout frequently was this 681 turbine. And I love having this. Here's a classic 736 Berkshire. This is what we'll be pulling the Polar Express around my layout this holiday season. No need for the newer one when you have a post-war 736. So this is another fantastic engine. And a 2055. Nothing special about this one. I picked it up for a good price with a collection locally. It was one of my favorites for quite a while until I got some of these other engines. But it's still a fantastic engine and probably could use a cleaning and a little runtime. Then there's this one, the 233, with the matching 233W tender. This is not all of my steam engines. I have the two 225Es that are in on the workbench in pieces that really do need to get back together. Also, there are 5 or 6 675s and variations of that engine that I've got that all need work. I don't plan on keeping all of them. The plan was to take the best parts and make one for myself and then get all the others running and sell those. I will eventually. Maybe this winter when it's too cold to be out in the garage, I will be inside working on the train. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm sure there's probably another steam engine or two floating around, but if so, it's not one that I have much interest in because I can't remember it at the moment. So this is my steam engine collection. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Wow. So I've got these 15 steam engines plus the few that I mentioned that are in the shop. It's pretty impressive. I didn't even realize I had this many. So thank you, Nick, for inspiring me to count how many I had. Since this added up to quite a bit more than I expected, I think I'm going to break this into 2 videos and I'll do the diesel engines next time. So since we have all these out, let's run a couple of them. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time on D.A. Griffin Hobby.